Have you ever pasted text into an editor and immediately thought, why does this look so wrong? This happens because raw text and HTML follow very different rules. That's where auto-formatting comes in. Auto-formatting helps editors translate user intent into clean, readable HTML without forcing users to think about tags, spacing rules, or syntax. And when done right, it dramatically improves the writing experience. Today, we're looking at auto-formatting features in WYSIWYG editors, using Ferwala Editor as our main example. Afterwards, we'll go one step further and explore AI-assisted auto-formatting, where models like DeepSeek analyze context and apply smarter formatting decisions. Auto-formatting is something that goes beyond turning text bold or italic. It's also about recognizing the user's intent. Examples include changing the color of headings according to organizational standards, setting the font type and size of text, and applying specific content alignments and spacing. The editor can detect patterns like these and adjust the HTML automatically. Instead of manually formatting as users type or paste content, they can just click a button and everything will look better. With AI, you can take this up a notch by adding context-aware formatting, intelligent cleanup, and adaptive styling suggestions. For example, if you're pasting or typing some meeting notes, AI can automatically recognize sections like summary, action items, and next steps from a not-so-organized block of text. Now, let's jump into how you can implement auto-formatting in your projects. Here's what you'll need: Ferwala Editor and the AI model of your choice. In this case, we're using DeepSeek. In Ferwala Editor, we'll be creating a custom auto-format plugin that takes the editor's contents, formats it according to some rules, and passes it over to AI for restructuring. In this demo, we'll be mimicking a meeting notes auto-formatter. Let's start! Okay, so what we have here is a standard Ferwala implementation, but with some custom plugin logic and some integrated AI as well. So as always, we're loading the Ferwala style sheet and the JS here. We're also calling our main JS file. We have a heading here, and this is where we'll put our editor. So let's move on to the JavaScript file. Let's start with these functions below. So here, we're just defining a button for Ferwala, which we'll use later on for the custom plugin. So we'll name it auto format. It has the star icon and some titles and other options here. And once clicked, this will run the auto format plugin, which we will define later. We also have our Ferwala editor instance, which we'll place in the editor element. And notice how we have the auto format button from earlier here. We're also going to enable our auto format plugin and define the editor size. Additionally, we also have this function called call AI. So this will be responsible for sending a request to the DeepSeek endpoint for processing or formatting the content, the editor content, using AI. So place your API key, your preferred endpoint, and make the call. We have our model right here, the system and user messages. System is just the instruction for the model, while the user message is the actual prompt or the actual content of the editor. The temperature, which defines how creative or deterministic the model will be. And the max tokens. So once we get something from DeepSeek, this function will just return the actual content of the processed data. Now that we've defined these external functions, let's move on to the plugin definition. So here we're defining a new plugin, which is auto format. We're defining a brand color, which we'll use for the headings later on. And here we have two functions and the main function. Let's focus on this one first. So here we're parsing the editor HTML so that even after the AI is finished with processing the contents, we'll get to preserve the actual HTML and not just the text from the editor. Then we'll first run the AI structural improvements, which is this function right here, run AI restructure. And once that's finished, we're going to apply the branding or the organizational standards, which is the apply branding function right here. Once we're done, we're going to update the editor, just set the HTML within the editor. So let's check out this run AI restructure function. So we're getting the HTML input. Our system prompt defines what the AI should do with the content. So for instance, add a meeting title, we're going to be inserting section headings since this is a meeting notes demo app. We're going to be grouping existing text under these headings. So based on context, the AI will group together the paragraphs or the other text content. And we're going to remove side notes or comments from other contributors. So we're also telling the model to not rewrite, summarize, or paraphrase any content. We just want to add structure here. And it also should not replace block quotes or lists or other elements. It should preserve all original wording and return valid semantic HTML only. So this is important if we want to preserve elements like block quotes or links. So we're going to call the function that we defined earlier, which is call AI. We want this to be a bit more deterministic or a bit more objective. And once we're done, we're going to put the processed content into the editor. And let's move on to the apply branding function. So we're just going to be getting all headings. We're going to change their font to Inter. We're also changing the font weight, and we're changing the heading color to the brand color that we defined earlier, which is something like a light blue color. We're adding some margins to make it look cleaner, and we're adjusting the font size a bit. For paragraphs, we're using this font, and we're also editing the other properties while slightly making the color a bit of a lighter shade of black. This one will standardize the bold or italics fonts. This one will add some spacing to lists. This one will change the block quotes a bit. So if we have some quotations, this will change the color, the border color of the quotations, and the font color will also change a bit. Same thing goes for links. And finally, we're going to be removing any line breaks or unnecessary empty spaces that we have in the document. So that's it. Once you set all these up, open your browser. And as you can see here, I already have this sample of meeting notes right here. So it's unstructured. This is just a mix of some summaries, some lorem ipsum, and a few quotes. And we even have this note here, which should not be on the final document or the final meeting notes. So once we click this button, it should convert the document into something more organized, more readable, using auto formatting and AI. So let's try it now. And there we go. We have a title now, which is just meeting notes. The first paragraph became the agenda. And this is the discussion. And you can see that we have headings now, and that they follow the branding guidelines, which is light blue for the headings. You can also notice how the font type changed into something cleaner. And for the quotations, they have a lot more space now, and the border color also conforms to the brand style. Also, you can notice that the note from earlier disappeared. It was somewhere right here. So the AI was able to follow our set of rules. This might just be a simple way of demonstrating how you can use both plugins and AI to automatically format content in your editor. But once you master this, and once you experiment more, I'm sure that you'll be able to do a lot of amazing things. So do try experimenting with these features. Maybe you can even share them down in the comments below. And that's auto formatting in modern WYSIWYG editors. Rule-based formatting handles the basics, while AI-assisted formatting adds context and intelligence. And when you combine both using Forwalla, you get an editor that surpasses the usual way of writing by understanding how your users write and how their organization standardize their content. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more tutorials, and try experimenting with AI-assisted auto formatting in your own projects. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.